Thank you for joining me. I am Miriam Ogutu, and this is the Exceptional Women Show. Now, mothers, as much as they may not be able to teach their boys how to be men, but the role they play in how these boys develop into manhood is a role that cannot be underestimated. Today, I'm joined by a mother who comes from an organization that seeks to teach mothers on how to have healthy and nurtured relationships with their sons. Please help me welcome Sophie Mbevi. Hi, Sophie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, so now you're welcome. How important is it a mother's relationship with their son?
I think it's very, very important. Just like I was chatting before the show, I was saying that a mother is a child's introduction to the world, what it is. So you, in a sense, you teach your child everything that they know in terms of, do they trust people? Are people going to respond to them when they're in trouble? All those things you teach, a mother teaches a child.
Yeah.
And so I'd say mother is the world.
Mother is the world.
Yes.
And that is very true. So tell us a little bit about your organization, the Mothers Sons.
Okay, so Transformations is a non-profit that seeks to develop the leader in the area of family, in the area of the marketplace, and in the area of the community.
Okay.
And one of the big, I'd say the flagship programs of Transformations is Man Enough. And
So by Man Enough, what does that mean? I'm curious.
Man Enough is a program on masculinity. So I guess it's just a place where men can gather and just talk about the issues.
And just be men.
And just be men. And
Because sometimes, that's how they act when they're around us.
and let
they put
down,
up this strong, because society have taught them to be like that.
Yes, society has taught men to be on the, you've got to have your game up all the time.
You have to have yourself together.
Yes. Exactly.
Even when you feel like, you need help.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're not supposed to need help as a man. I think traditionally you're told to man up, and man up you're told you're not supposed to cry. And yet, human beings are emotional.
I know.
And there needs to be a place to express those things. So Man Enough is a program that brings men together, adult men, all the way from young adults to, we've had people as old as 70s.
Wow.
Just join the program and just say, I wish somebody had told me this when I was younger.
Wow.
Because there's so many things looking back, I feel I need to fix, but I'm out of time.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Man Enough is a 8-week program. So the men get together, they learn about what it means to be a man. They talk about the definition of a man. And they talk about what is responsible masculinity. What does it look like in the various roles that you carry as a man?
Because others comes from background where that was never mirrored to them.
Yeah.
They never saw that.
It was never mirrored. Our society right now is less structured. In the olden days, there was a deliberate structure where young boys actually hung out with older men, and they were taught, they saw what it means to be a man. But these days,
things have changed.
Things have changed.
And the family gets the repercussion
family
now.
unit has become smaller, less inclusive. The village doesn't exist around children anymore like it did. Yeah, so I guess Man Enough is a flagship program for Transformations. And out of just men gathering together and talking about their issues and talking about how they grew up, the one thing that kept coming up is the role of mothers. Because a lot of them would talk about the things that they went through some of the drama they face in their current life is actually something that their mothers mostly did wrong.
Wow.
And I think as my husband, Simon, listened to the men, he realized, okay, here we are trying to mend these broken men.
It's
a task.
Way inside into their lives.
You're taking a chance because you don't know, depending on how far these guys have gone.
Yeah.
depending on what support system they have, you cannot tell the extent to which you can do that damage control. So then we said, okay, better to mold a boy,
Yeah, it's easier
than to mend a broken man. It's easier to mold a boy,
Yeah.
and who then has interaction with the young boys,
It's the mother.
growing men, than mothers.
It's mothers.
So
Yeah.
you target the mothers, you show them the how, and hopefully we'll have a better crop of men turning up
in the future generations.
Yes.
Wow. So what do you think it's the one thing from your previous interactions and programs? What do you think is the one thing that boys wish the mothers would understand about them? Especially from the teenage age, you know, they become other people.
I think if I would just share my own story, I had my firstborn is a girl,
Yeah.
and she's your perfect child.
Okay.
she's everything a mother would hope for.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Yes, and we thank God for her. Then came our son, and I just felt like I had never done this before.
How was it different?
It's different. I mean, the boy is rough.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, is it me who now is not with it? Am I not disciplining enough? And I found myself, and then also things like I remember once when my son had trouble around his penis, and he came and told me, "Mommy, I have pain."
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do because I don't have one.
You're not a man.
I'm not a man.
Yeah.
So I found myself quickly saying, okay, I think daddy needs to deal with this. And you see, at that point, the child knows this is my caregiver. He cannot.
supposed to find a
He doesn't
solution.
understand the differences between the anatomies.
Yeah. When he's very young.
So he can't figure out. Okay, mommy is not like me. Let me ask dad. He just came to me.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the things that made me appreciate the fact that I have a parenting partner who happens to be my husband.
Yeah.
So he sort of helped me navigate
It's a balance.
that.
Yeah.
But to your question about teenage, I think teenage is rough on anybody. That we survive, I think is just God, seriously. So I think a lot of the teenage is a time of both boys and girls
Yeah.
forming their identity, asking, who am I? I think if I would quote my husband, he says, every little boy is asking, am I man enough?
Yeah.
Even when they're little.
Yeah.
And by default, when they get into fights with other little boys, they're trying to answer that
Prove,
question.
Yeah. Oh, that's what they go out seeking for.
Am I man enough?
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I realized that my son's brashness is not rudeness.
No, he's just trying to make a point.
He's trying to make a point. And so rather than dismiss him or write him off as being unruly, I listen to him.
Okay.
And I find out, okay, what is it that you want? And sometimes I realize he just needs affirmation. He needs to know that
Yeah.
he's a little warrior.
You know, that just reminded me of a
Yeah.
friend of mine. She has 3 kids, and the boy is the middle kid.
Yeah.
But the last one came in quicker. I think the mother got pregnant when the boy was like 6 months only.
Yeah.
I think the difference is like a year or so. So he never got the attention, the word he needed. So now he's close to 3 years, but he really acts up. And he used to be a very nice boy.
Yeah.
He's all over the place. I think because all the attention shifted or is being divided to the younger sister. But if you, like the last time I was there, if you see, like you carry him or make him feel like he's also part of, he calms down. So it's true, sometimes we feel like girls need more attention than the boys, or more love than the boys.
Do need
They need
attention as
attention
well.
and affirmation.
But they need, I think the difference is how you express that attention.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's very easy. I see how easy it is for me to want to beat my boy to fit the mold of his older
The
sister.
yeah.
Because that older sister, she's a girl, being a girl, I know how that works.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for me to want to
bring-
actually
yeah.
align him to be
Towards
to like
the sister, yeah.
be a little girl. But it's against everything that is within him.
It's against what he is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
against who he is on the inside. And so most definitely there will be that
There'll
sense
be a conflict.
of conflict.
Yeah.
And I think conflict is now what that being conflicted on the inside as a young boy is what may
Makes
then
him
express
work
itself as
Anger, or just acting up
or
and
acting
being
up.
unruly and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. So sons are not known to be very good talkers. I have a son, so I know that. He'll start something, and if you want to know more, I don't know.
I mean, he's
I
a
don't
little
want-
man.
Yeah, so
Even
so
the
you're not
big
having
boys.
that conversation. Yeah, but the other day I bought him a diary, so he writes his thoughts. I don't like read it, but sometimes I'm just curious to find out his thoughts. So that was my way of knowing what he thinks, because
Yeah.
now he doesn't really share much with me as he used to. So boys are not known to be very good talkers. So how can you encourage a boy to be a good communicator?
Now, one thing I hear about the way the sexes relate, women are very face to face. You know, we want to sit, have our coffee, and chat about this and chat about that.
And if I'm mad, I'll let you know, or you'll see it at least
Yes.
on my expression.
Now, in fact, I think the worst thing you can tell a man is that we need to
We
talk.
need to talk.
It goes crazy. A husband tells me that you go crazy. You begin to quickly scroll through and
I
say,
know,
okay,
what
what
did
did
I
I do
do?
wrong?
What needs
It's
fixing?
very intimidating. But so he
Yeah.
says that men are shoulder to shoulder. You'll find guys bonding over a football game, and I don't need to know your name for us to connect deeply.
No, them they don't go that deep.
Yeah,
Just
you may
general
have
things.
your boy who you can trust. I remember one time I needed to give my mechanic some money. And so he directed me to this place near his garage. He was not there. Then he's telling me, there's a guy there who runs a kiosk. Just give him the cash. So I'm like, so that I can be sure, I'm like, okay, so what's the guy's name? He says, no, don't worry. I don't know his name, but give me, give him the cash.
And you think this is
I
cash?
was like,
Come on, I need to know a name.
I was like, this is crazy. You don't even know the
person's
name
name.
of the guy you're living with your cash. So I went back and I told Simon, my husband, what is this? He says, I don't need to know your name. We're just tight.
We're just tight.
And that's how men roll. I was like, all right.
Them they function differently. I mean,
Yeah. So
they
I think-
trust. Does it mean they trust easily, or as long as you prove they can
No.
trust you, they don't have to worry too much? like-
Honestly,
like
it's
us.
a guy thing. And to date, I have not figured it out.
Even I that I don't get.
I don't get it.
All right.
I don't get it. So I think what we learn in Mothers of Sons is that boys, as women, we talk in paragraphs. Boys, you do one sentence at a time. If you give 3 instructions in one sentence, most likely only the one that the boy likes will get done.
Okay.
So he says, be systematic. Say, wake up, go to your room.
Okay. Done. Don't start.
Don't say, wake
Adding.
up, go to your room, pick up your socks and wash your face.
He'll just remember one,
He'll remember one and you'll wonder why he is.
and he'll only remember go to your room.
Yeah, go to your
Because the
room.
washing of the face, that's
Yeah.
something else.
So I think it's learning the communication patterns.
Okay.
And knowing that for the boys, you need to be very precise. And you need to be, don't treat your little boy like your girlfriend.
Okay.
Or like your daughter.
They don't like stories.
No
just
stories.
Be on point.
Be on point.
Okay.
Be precise. Give me one instruction, and then of course
They'll follow through.
Follow through.
Once they're done, you can give more instructions. And with that, we're going to take a short break. And please don't go too far, because we'll be back. And Sophie will be telling us more about some events that are coming up in the organization, and of course, more about the organization. So we'll be back in a bit. Welcome back in case you're joining us. This is the Exceptional Women Show, and my guest today is Sophie Mbevi from Mother's Sons.
From Transformations?
From Transformations.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course they have a program that is very close to my heart. That is Mother's Sons.
Mothers of Sons.
Mothers of Sons
Yes.
program. And so before we went to the break, you were telling us, we were talking about the communication. So, but how is it important for a boy to hear the words, I love you, from a parent?
We talk about the 3 A's that form the core needs of every human being, boy or girl. We talk about acceptance. A boy needs to know they belong. And I think when it comes to belonging, especially in our context, a boy wants to know, who is my daddy? Because that's who I look like. That's who fathered me. And so I think part of being, part of loving your boy as a mom is actually releasing him to his father at some point. Or if the father is not there functional, then to an appropriate father figure, somebody who will not, who probably you share values with and who you trust that will pass on the right values to
Can be
your
a good
son.
role model to your son.
Yeah, so I think acceptance is about belonging. Your boy needs to know that he is accepted in the days that he's performing and in the days that he's not performing. So there needs to know that
It's unconditional.
It's unconditional.
Yeah.
The other thing is affirmation. Like I said, every man, I'm not one, but my husband tells me that every man wants to know, am I a man enough? So every little boy is seeking to be affirmed. And I think boys tend to be clumsier than girls.
I know.
I hear they blame it on the hormone T. And it's very easy, for example, to say to your child, you're a bad boy. Okay?
Then it is
At
to
that
say, I
point,
love
you
you.
have labeled him.
Yeah.
You have assigned
And words have power.
Yeah, you have assigned the vice of badness to
your child.
him as a person.
Wow.
You've actually attached it to him. So you need to let your child know that you're a good boy. There is goodness in you, but I don't like the bad
It's just
thing
the
you have
things
done.
that you've done
So
that I
sort of
don't like.
separate the person
From the deed.
from the deed. Respond to the deed appropriately. If it needs discipline, please do discipline, but separate the person from the deed.
Okay.
So we're talking about acceptance, affirmation, celebrate the child, and sometimes speak by faith. You know, I remember my son being very brash with his sisters, and I was feeling very frustrated. So one day I just called him and told him, you know what? You're such a gentleman. You're so kind to your sisters. He was not being any of that. But I decided to speak it to
by
him.
faith.
And I could see his eyes just growing
Oh, really?
bigger.
Because he was expecting to
and
be
bigger. So
reprimanded.
he was expecting a bashing.
Yeah.
But I just went on and told him what he's capable of. And I told him I know he can do it.
Yeah.
And then I told him, okay, go and do it. And I mean, you could see his shoulders adjusted.
Wow.
And his face began to glow. And he came back and said, Mommy, how did you know I could do that?
Wow.
And I said, I just know you're my child. So where I could have bashed him, I actually affirmed him.
Yeah.
And I redeemed the person that was going wrong.
Because you saw the good in
saw the
him.
good. I
And
saw
most
the
time parents we don't
don't
see
see the
that. We're
good.
very quick to
You're quick
reprimand.
to, it's not our default to catch people doing right. It's our default to catch people doing wrong.
yeah.
Isn't that so? So I think we need, affirmation is about basically catching your child doing and being right and calling it out and speaking it to them.
Yeah.
And assigning that value to them. And then finally we talk about affection.
Okay.
Your child needs to know that no matter what happens,
They're loved
they're loved
unconditionally.
unconditionally, and that like I tell my son, I love you because you are my son.
Not because you did
It
well
is
in
not
school.
about what you have done
Yeah.
or not done. The fact that you are my son, I
enough.
gave birth to you, that is what qualifies you for my love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unconditional affection.
And that needs to be communicated to them.
It needs
They
to
need
be
to hear that.
communicated. They need to hear it. How you express it, how you receive it, changes with time.
Yeah.
But as a mom, you have to find 1,000 ways of
To say it.
communicating all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really powerful. So, why is it important for a boy to understand the importance of respect?
Well, they say that what love is to women, respect is to men.
Okay.
So I think we need to define for our children what is respect, because again we assume they know. We need to actually teach them. What does respect look like when you're giving it and when you're receiving it?
Yeah.
What does it look like? And then also teach them the reciprocity, that when you carry yourself in a respectable manner, then you will be respected.
Yeah.
And also the other way around.
Okay.
So I think we need to, and it begins with the first way in which a child learns respect is that you as a parent needs to be a credible authority figure. You need to create structures in your home and for that boy, and he needs to understand that it is his responsibility as a son in that home to obey.
Okay.
Because you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah, true.
If there's no structures at home teaching respect,
Yeah.
then don't expect him to be
He
respectful.
can't pick it out from the
Yeah.
streets.
If
He
you
needs to get that
allow
from
him
home.
to be
Yeah.
disrespectful to you as his parent,
Yeah.
don't
They'll
expect
carry
him
it
to.
out.
They'll carry it out.
And
Yeah.
be disrespectful.
So I think there's
world.
a huge role that the mother has to play in setting boundaries and expecting that those boundaries
Be
will actually
respected.
be respected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this issue of mothers turning their sons into their emotional husbands. They love their kids so much that they don't even realize it's becoming unhealthy.
Yes.
Yeah. Places they're meant to go with their husbands, they carry the son.
Yes.
Or things they're meant to do, like, oh, I'm cooking this because my son loves this, because like this, the boy has replaced the place of the man in her life, and the
Yes.
boy has taken this. And a lot of mothers, we don't really know when we do this,
Yeah.
so we don't even realize how unhealthy this is. How can this be rectified, and what are the boundaries when showing our love to the boys?
So what I tell mothers when we meet at the Mothers of Sons Forum is the truth is you're raising your son to leave you one day.
Wow, that's a painful truth, but
And hopefully to be joined to a woman who he will have chosen for himself. And at that point, you need to remove yourself from being the competition in that relationship.
And that is a difficult thing for most
It's a
mothers.
difficult, when I say, it's very interesting. It's one of the things I always say in every class, the first one. Did you know that you're raising your children to leave you? And there's this look that comes over the women.
Like I want to have a house
They're
next to mine.
It's almost like yeah, but no.
Come on. Yeah.
So,
but that is the truth.
And the truth is, how good you turn out as an adult is sort of the certificate of your qualification as in terms of how good a parent you are.
You are. That is true.
Yeah, parenting is the one thing where your success or failure is defined by how do your children turn out as adults. Are they being successful as adults? And we have our markers for what a successful adult looks like.
Yeah.
So back to your question and to say how then do
when we turn our sons
yes when we turn
husbands.
our children into the adult we sort of allow them to take that place of the male adult in our lives. Number one, we rob them of a childhood.
Okay.
Because then they have no room to just be a boy and to grow up into a man. So
because you expect too much from them.
yeah, you expect too much from them. So there's something we call, you almost like parentify this child.
Okay.
It's almost, there's a huge confusion there. So the son can't understand. So now am I your son?
Or am I
Now am I your husband?
something else?
We even throw in something there where we call them daddy. So I'm like, am I your father now? So it's
It's confusing.
mega confusion. So the son
So
needs
this
to
daddy,
know.
mommy thing.
Yeah, the son needs to know.
Yeah.
You're not my mother. I am the mother. I mean, you're not my daddy.
Yeah.
There's somebody who has that place in my life.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what you're talking about is what we call unhealthy soul ties, where you find, even now when this child, you can't stand the thought of this woman, this man, your son, being with another woman and actually surviving. And so you have all
Or
this
even if
mother-in-law
he
drama.
does, you're always in their
You're always
lives.
in their
You want
face.
to be present.
You're always criticizing. You're thinking nobody else can feed
It's
your
good enough.
son the way you do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not healthy.
It's not healthy
really.
at all.
Yeah.
So how can that be rectified?
Just
can mothers,
do your best to teach your children what they need to do for them to be well adjusted, and there are very many forums these days to help with that.
Teach that, yeah.
To teach that, and then always picture yourself as an old woman, as a grandmother even,
Yeah.
or as an older woman, and your son is grown up. What is that vision you have for your son? And then work backwards. What do I need to do now to produce this kind of a guy?
Yeah.
If I'm smothering him, if I'm not letting him take responsibility, if I'm not allowing him to help around the house, let me tell you, a woman somewhere in the future will be one miserable.
Yeah, because
Woman.
she'll be married to a mommy's boy.
She'll be married to a mommy's boy. It will be very frustrating. And at that point, your role as a mother will be that one of Kofi Annan. You know, forever trying to make peace and
But it's
cut
mediation
deals.
that is biased.
But it's mediation that's biased.
Because you know,
In fact,
the child's always right.
What happens is that sometimes this boy, now grown man, turns out so bad, and you now try to get him a woman who will fix him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Who will fix your mistakes as a mom?
who will fix your mistakes as a mom?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, it is drama, it is chaos.
It's not very healthy.
So I think the one thing I need to tell women is this, and mothers, even as I tell myself, I'm raising my son to leave me. I'm raising him not to stay with me the rest of my life. I need him to go and find out
be someone
the world,
responsible.
conquer something, establish something, raise a name
Be
for himself.
Yeah.
And the first steps towards that man that I dream about is actually to release this boy
Yeah.
and to realize that even I, as a mother, have boundaries.
Yeah.
There's a line that I cannot cross. There are also, as much as I'm saying there are boundaries that I need to set for my son, there are also boundaries that I need to set for myself
yourself as a mother.
As a mother.
Yeah.
And know that this is how this relationship is working. When this child is growing, I am the adult. I need to be an authority figure. When this child becomes an adult, it becomes a relationship of equals.
Yeah.
Just that I am the adult now with
Yeah.
more experience. And I need to be as selfless as possible.
And respectful.
And respectful.
Yeah.
Respect his space, respect his choices. So I become an advisor.
Okay.
I don't become the one who controls him. He doesn't have to check everything with me. He can go
Yeah.
and make his own
Because now
decisions.
you'll be part of the problem.
In fact, I need to, sometimes I will see him making mistakes and I need to allow him.
to do that.
Because I believe that every man needs to show off his scars. You know, I did this, I took this wrong move, and that scar will be a reminder for him, hopefully,
Yeah, he'll have
of a
learned from
part
it.
that he should not tread. But if I'm always rescuing and I'm always rescuing,
he can't.
then I end up with this disabled man.
Disabled
he
person
can't function
on his own.
Yeah, he can't function.
Yeah. So, in the long run, the grand scheme of things, what do you intend to achieve with this program of Mothers of Sons?
I think, like I said, the vision is that of responsible manhood and masculinity in the society. I think when we talk about even the things that you're dealing with right now, the corruption, really it boils down to who the majority of our leaders are men. And the majority of our leaders are men who are not thinking of anybody else apart from themselves. For me, it's a story of failed masculinity.
Wow.
So we hope that we can raise selfless people, people who are first of all wholly themselves, and who realize that masculinity is supposed to be a gift to manhood. It's supposed to be leadership, and leadership that is selfless, that seeks the good of others above my own, and sometimes at the cost, at personal cost even.
Yeah.
That is what servant leadership is all about.
That is true servanthood.
So we are hoping that in the future, hopefully we can produce a different crop of men. And as for those who are passing through the Man Enough programs that we are doing, and the Boys to Men, that there can be change. There can be one person somewhere making a change.
So far, can you? How successful is the program?
I think the program has been very successful. We have alumni who have been. Right now, we are doing the 10th season of Mothers of Sons program. Man Enough is in its 18th season.
Okay. Wow.
So it means that we've run the classes 8 weeks, 18 times.
Wow.
Yeah, or 10 times for Mothers of Sons.
Wow.
And we get the alumni to come back, and they say, I now have a better relationship with my son. Some of the women, as a result of going through Mothers of Sons, they actually understand the big boys in their house better.
Yeah.
They also understand the adult males in their relationship.
Yeah, better.
So I'd say for sure that there's a lot of difference.
Okay, that has been made.
There are lots of potential mama's boys that have just been rescued.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, what do you have a website, or what are your contacts?
Yes, we have a website, www.transformnations.net.
Okay.
And they can also find us on Facebook, Mothers of Sons. Man Enough is Man Enough Global on Facebook, so they can find us on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sophie Mbevi, it was really nice to have you on the show today. And personally, I've learned a lot. And hopefully, I'll avail myself.
Yes, you're welcome. We are actually launching this Saturday.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to come and learn alongside other moms.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So mothers, remember, you have a God-given role in how your son develops, and that is a role that you cannot relegate to somebody else. No one else can take your place and be that you're supposed to be to your sons. And so don't underestimate that role that God has given you to nurture and to develop your son to the man that you'd want to see in the future. This has been the Exceptional Women Show. I am Miriam Mugutu, and I'll see you next time.